Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be talking about how it's okay not to love your job, but you can't hate it. This is an interesting topic that I hope you find some value from. I think when you come out of college, you have all these expectations of trying to find your passion and make sure you're following your interests and making sure you land this perfect job, because your first job is usually not the best one out there. It's usually either entry level or what you can take to either pay off your loans or set up yourself for success in the future. And I think during your first job, it's a really good transitional period to really figure out what you don't like and not necessarily what you do like. Unless you're like the small 1% who knows exactly what they're going to do and you find the perfect job due to connections or the stars lining up. I think a lot of us during our first job, we find out there's a lot of stuff that we don't like about it, but it's also teaching us to figure out, okay, is this just a natural part of life and is this part of any organization, or is this truly unique to me? And I've kind of came up with this 80-20 rule. I feel like 80% of the time you can like your job. You don't have to love it, but you can enjoy it, right? And 20% of the time you can hate it. I feel like I can't go below the 80% happiness, but because even if you do a 70-30 model, that means a third of your day you absolutely hate, and that is way too high for enjoyment. And I feel like that isn't going to negatively impact your mental health. I'm actually super grateful that I even have a job with a psychology major in consulting, and I guess counting my blessings and being grateful also helps me change my perspective. There's some days where you just sit there and you're like, fuck, dude, am I gonna do this until the day I die? What's my escape path? And it's very boring at any job, because when you're first getting started out, you don't really know what is going on. You're absorbing as much information, learning the corporate structure, learning the skill set in order to be adequate. And it is a stressful thing. You're gonna commit mistakes and you're gonna not feel competent or confident in your abilities. But as time goes by, I definitely believe that slowly starts to turn into being adequate at your role, but it kind of comes with time and you have to stick it with it. And then I feel like when you're in an organization, you have the opportunity to meet and talk to older people who have been there for a very long time. And either you can get a great mentor that tells you things to do, things not to do, but I feel like you get a lot of things not to do that is represented in the work culture. In any organization, you can talk to some people and you can just ask them about their life, if you have any regrets. You learn a lot about them and things to avoid. I think one of the greatest examples was just being around people who just felt like they were stuck in this corporate grind. They have so much debt, they're living above their means and they can never pay it off. And then they're kind of overqualified, so they're stuck at this job. And then just telling me all these stories, I was like, damn, I really don't want to be in your situation when I'm 58 or 60. I hope by the time I'm 58, I'm retired. And that kind of gave me the motivation to start seeking solutions to figure out, how am I going to retire a little early, or how can I make the correct decision so it doesn't negatively impact my life? And that kind of comes about just being curious and kind of talking to your coworkers, talk to people with more experience and realize that they have a lot of experience and lessons that they can instill upon you. So I feel like I ask a lot of older people, hey, what advice would you have for a young lad like me? I'm 24, I'm just starting to get in my career. And it's actually super interesting because you'll start to realize that no one has their shit figured out, even later on in life. I know it's very disheartening when you think about it, when am I gonna have my life together? Maybe when I'm 30, maybe when I'm 40. But then you talk to people 40, 50, even 30, and they're like, I don't really know what I'm gonna do. I'm just kind of going along with it. And some people even change careers when they're 45, 50, which is absolutely crazy to me. And I think that gives you the hope that you don't need to have everything figured out when you're super young. The perfect job probably doesn't exist when you're really young. I don't know if it really exists out there. Maybe you can find things you're really good at that provides an income, but I feel like translating your hobby into work isn't the correct way to go about it. I know with our generation, we've been indoctrinated to believe that follow the passion and money will come later, which is slightly true. There's some truth to it, but focusing only on passion and not the logistical sides of whatever endeavor you're choosing is kind of a negative thing that could really hurt you and set you back. I think the philosophy of burning your boats, going all in on your dreams, it sounds amazing. It's a great fantasy, but the everyday struggles, it's very real. And maybe there's ways to mitigate that risk. Instead of burning the boats and focusing all on your passion, maybe you can work a part-time job or a chill corporate job and do your passion on the side until it starts getting momentum. That's kind of what I'm doing with YouTube, right? I work a corporate job and I film these videos as a hobby on the side for fun. I'm just starting out, right? I'm developing my confidence, I'm developing my video style. It's very crude and amateur production. It's very lo-fi, I would say. I mean, the microphone sucks, but it's what I have. So I started to just do it for fun and see where I can start, versus quitting my job and then saying I'm gonna go all in on YouTube when I haven't really delved into this realm and realized wow, there's a lot of things I can improve on. So it's kind of like an experimental starting ground, and it's just called minimizing risk. And I think that's something you need to apply into your life. The greatest thing about having a job you actually don't like is you start searching for meaning outside of work. It really puts you in this hyperdrive to figure out, I need to find a purpose, I need to find meaning. This job is kind of soulless, I hate it, I need to figure out something, or I feel like I'm decaying. And that can either turn into a nihilistic apathy, kind of a negative view of the world. I don't even know if that's even a word, whatever it totally is. Or you can either jumpstart your life and you start doing a lot of new hobbies and interacting with new people to kind of like jumpstart that fire into your life, because obviously you're not getting it from work. And maybe if you are, if it's challenging work, like props to you. But I feel like a lot of us would kind of just show up, get the experience, and we're like, okay, I do this for a couple of years and then maybe I leave to another firm, or I can start my own business. You're in this weird age group where you're like 22, 24, you're just getting started. You don't really know what to do. You just graduated college and you're just kind of going with the flow with work because that's just what you're supposed to do until you find out a game plan. I would say like I never really had the motivation until like fairly recent to go out and start searching for other income sources and finding a small business idea that I could do on the side. Because when you're just kind of getting acclimated to work, you don't really have the motivation or time. But I feel like the fear of getting stuck at a corporation until retirement, it kind of set my butt on fire. And I was like, I need to start searching for an escape plan, because while this work is bearable right now at 24, I do not want to be doing this when I'm 45. That is a goal of mine. I definitely want to be out soon. But that kind of comes through like obviously saving your money, investing in your Roth IRA, 401k, and index funds, or stocks that you think that are actually have good fundamentals. Don't invest in AMD or GameStop. Actually do your formal financial analysis on stocks. But I guess where I'm at right now, I'm working, doing my best, developing a great resume so I can propel this onto another company that want to hire me in the future, or start my own consulting firm, or I don't know, I'm just getting a ton of experience and I'm having fun with it. But I'm treating work kind of like a hobby, quote unquote, because if you take it a little too seriously, it can be quite depressing. I'm obviously saving, I'm spending less than I earn, and I'm investing that so I have a little cushion, so when I do want to jumpstart something, I can. So if you just graduated and you're kind of just struggling in your work life, just realize that most of us at 24 are doing the exact same thing as you. We're at the bottom of the hierarchy of the corporate structure, just trying to get on by. Even though people try to make it look very glamorous on Instagram and social media, it's probably not the case. As always, I wish you the best. Namaste.